Alrighty.
Alright, good.
So I'm here with Steven Ionata, and I got some interview questions for you. So first, what is your position here at UNC?
I am the Associate Director of Event Management.
Awesome. Let's see, what is a typical day like for you?
Whew, cliche that no day is the same, but that's true. Kind of depends if we have an event that night. If it's a sport, I'm responsible for a lot of the morning and the afternoon leading up to the event, and that evening will be preparations for that, printing documents, making sure everything's in order. If it's a non-event day, kind of looking at big picture stuff, whether it's for current sports in season or even getting ahead planning for winter and spring sports.
Great. Who do you report to?
Report to John Bruner. He's our associate AD for event management.
Awesome. What is your favorite part about your job?
I like that I get out and moving, not just stuck behind a desk. So like I said, event days especially, I'm hardly at my desk at all, and even a normal week is not really stuck behind a desk much. Meetings, going to the actual facilities, practices, the event, so just kind of being able to be on my feet and not stuck behind a desk all day.
Awesome. What is your least favorite part of the job?
If
you had to have
I guess, it is a lot of hours. We have 28 sports here, over 250 sporting events a year at home that we're responsible for. So with that comes just a lot of hours, a lot of weekends, a lot of nights, holidays. So I guess it comes with the territory, but if I had to pick, it would be that you're sacrificing a lot of your weekends and nights and holidays.
And then that leads into the next question, which you kind of already went into, but how many hours per week do you usually work?
Yeah, I think it all depends. I mean, there's weeks like last week where it was fall break and there were no really home sporting events except one field hockey game. A lot of students were off campus, a lot of student athletes were off campus or away. So last week was more of like your typical 40-hour week, but there's times when we have an event every day on a weekend and you're working 7 days a week, and before you know it, you're up to a 60-hour week.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, let's see. What qualities and skills do you need to succeed in your line of work, do you think?
Definitely the ability to be organized. So right now, for example, I am our lead for men's soccer, and then have a role with football and basketball, and we're getting to the point where all three of those sports are happening at once. It's the early part of basketball season, the tail end of football and soccer, and so just balancing all three sports. Got to be organized for that. Got to be able to lead. We have a lot of part-time staff and event staff and security staff that are very helpful for us at events, but they're looking for us to explain what we need out of them. They're more than capable people, great to work with, but we do kind of, when we're the event manager, they report to us. So you got a lot of people looking at you to lead and be responsible. So leadership, responsibility, organization.
Awesome. How long have you worked at UNC for?
I started back here full-time in August of 2016. I got my master's from here in 2015, went away for a year, and then came back here full-time. So this is my fourth school year.
Awesome. let's see, what education experience, past employment have you had like to get to the position that you're in now?
Yeah. So really had no idea that sport management was really something you could study in college. When I went into college, was more looking at business, marketing classes, and then really started getting involved in my undergrad, my junior year, just doing unpaid internship for Miami University where I went for undergrad. Their athletic department did that for 2 years. Had a mentor there that told me if I wanted to move up that grad school was probably something I should look at, and I knew just personally that if I started working and then tried to go back to school, I wouldn't be great at that. So went straight into a 2-year master's program here at UNC from 2013 to 2015, and then went away for a year and did a 1-year internship with the college football playoff in Dallas, Texas, and then was fortunate enough when that ended, because I knew that was just a fixed 11-month term, that I would start looking, and job opened up here, and so I came back here.
Awesome. And then you kind of touched on it already, but do you recommend getting a graduate degree if you want to work in sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely up to that person. I had a great experience here. The way the program works here at UNC, you're mostly focused on your academics your first year, and then your second year is your work experience. So it's theory and practice is what their kind of motto is. So you're a full-time intern in the athletic department your second year, and I think that was very helpful, just with connections and work experience. I mean, some people can go and they go to a grad program and you have to secure your own internship on the side. So that's what drew me to this program. So I had a great experience, would definitely recommend this program to anyone. Can't speak as much to some of the other programs, and just some people's personal situations. Some people need to go to work right away, either financially or just gotta take a break from school. But I mean, it's definitely the people I interact with and work with. I would say the majority have some form of graduate degree, whether it's in sport administration or management, MBA, or something of that nature.
Yeah. So like when you had your internship at Miami, did you benefit from that? Like what were the benefits that you got out of that?
Yeah, I think at first kind of deer in the headlights. You're like, okay, I want to work in sports because I like sports, and that's really all you know.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a commitment. They relied on us, even though we were undergrad unpaid. I mean, they needed the manpower to put on the events and market the events. So I really enjoyed it. I think that's kind of one of the reasons that I was able to get in grad school here, just through connections. It's crazy how many people know each other in this industry. So my supervisor at Miami knew somebody here at UNC, and it just worked out. But yeah, definitely benefited from that.
Awesome. What's your favorite sport to work at UNC? If you had to pick one, that's the thing.
Yeah. You're not showing this video to any of the teams, right?
No.
No, I mean, yeah, I think just naturally you start to have an inclination for your teams that you work with. So for me, in the fall, like I said, in men's soccer. In the winter, I work with wrestling. In the spring, I work with women's lacrosse. So those are the 3 primary sports I'm the lead on. And then big hand in football and men's basketball as well. And then I'm actually the sport administrator for women's tennis. So you really start to develop relationships with all of those teams. And so not that I can pick a favorite out of them, but I would say those 5 or 6 that I work with.
Awesome.
Most.
What are some of the benefits, if there are any, for working at the University of North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, just brand recognition. I think anytime you're applying for a job or school and you have University of North Carolina Chapel Hill on a resume, it just kind of stands out. And then we're just so big. We have so many great people here that they know so many people, and it's just the connections. Like, if I'm interested in moving on and jobs open up somewhere across the country, even if it's 10 states away, chances are somebody here knows somebody there, or some third party connection that would be able to at least get me a foot in the door, and then it's on you to kind of sell yourself. But I just think UNC kind of has this reputation, and then just the connections that you can make really are beneficial.
Awesome. Let's see. In your opinion, what is the best way to network?
Yeah, it's something I should probably get better at. I am naturally just not that kind of person.
Yeah.
But I think, just stuff that I've done, going to conferences like NACDA and SEFMA and NCS4, you just start to be around your peers. And I think that's kind of how I started. Like, if I'm going to go network, I'm not going to go immediately start networking with people that work in development, because they're just naturally better at that and do that for a living. Like, I'm going to start with other facility and event managers and people who most likely are more aligned with me personality-wise, definitely career-wise, and just have enjoyed meeting people at conferences like that and kind of picking each other's brains, swapping horror stories, best practices, and then that gets you more comfortable with talking to other people that you don't know, and then you can kind of open up and talk to other marketing people, other development people, and just other units that aren't doing the same stuff as you but are still in that same realm of college athletics.
Awesome. Let's see. What are some challenges about your job?
I think the first one that comes to mind is weather. We host a lot of outdoor events, and there's a lot of things like that you can't control with the weather. You can only plan and have plans B and C and D and so on in place, and if you run into these situations, but you can have the perfect plan for an event, the perfect marketing plan, event operations plan, parking plan, and then Mother Nature can just throw you a curveball, and that's frustrating because it is something that's out of your control, but it is challenging. Say another thing is working with different teams and different coaches and different visiting team coaches, just a lot of personalities to manage, just a lot of different types, different personalities, different communication styles. So just keeping all that in order to make sure you're getting from them what you need and they're getting the proper information from you, so when game day comes around they're not completely thrown off or confused. But yeah, it's a lot of those things you can't control, so it's on you to try to be as prepared as possible. But knowing that at the end of the day, you said when you wake up, if it's raining all day or thunder and lightning, can't really help that.
This one is a good one for you. You'll like this. Do you think that the clear bag policy here at UNC has been beneficial?
I think that we definitely had some growing pains. I think that ultimately it is a good idea for fan safety and for ease of entry for fans. I think once it becomes customary for everybody and they all have the proper bags, everything moves a lot quicker. People can get into the game faster, can be in their seats by kickoff or tip-off faster, and then just is obviously able to be checked a lot quicker by our security staff. But I mean, I think like anything, it's taken a little bit for people to get used to. Seeing it more and more. I was just at an NFL stadium last weekend, and I think the NFL's had a clear bag policy for at least 2 seasons, if not longer. And there's still people showing up with the wrong bags, and so as much as you educate and publicize the policy, people are still going to find a way to not see it, or that's news to me, or nowhere else does that. I
mean, I think like entry's gone quicker in like basketball and football games too. I mean, what I've worked. So.
Yeah, I think it is. I just think,
just like you said, the growing pains.
Yeah,
for sure.
You gotta just get over that. And,
for sure. All right, let's see. I need to find an internship, right? What should I look for in an internship, do you think?
Yeah, so definitely something that you're interested in, but something that also may take you out of your comfort zone. I think that's always good. You're still learning what you enjoy, don't enjoy, or good at, not good at. So I think that, any internship in college athletics or even professional athletics, like, we're lucky to have those. There's only so many of those, and so many people want them. So I know, like, I came into this grad program with a marketing background, marketing minor, had done like events and marketing undergrad internship, and when it came time for second year other grad program internships, marketing and event management were both looking like, and even facility management, all three were kind of looking like wasn't gonna be able for me. Somebody in my class was gonna get those, so I completely went out of my comfort zone and did football operations internship. So I was kind of our assistant director of football operations, and completely out of my comfort zone. Never played a down of football in my life. Never really been around a football team, but you just, even something like that, you learn what you're good at. So I took away from that I enjoyed the being organized and planning things, and kind of being responsible for large groups of people, and have just taken those skills and turned it into the actual career I want. But really, what you should be looking for is just something that's going to challenge you and be enjoyable for you, and then it's on you to get out of it what you can.
Yeah, awesome. Let's see. How do you utilize critical thinking, like, in your everyday life kind of deal, especially with like a big football game or something like that you have going on, if there's a problem? Or
yeah, football is a great example. It's a lot of it is quick decisions. There's a lot of people in the stadium, a lot of different entities that we're responsible for. So all the decisions that we're making are quick but efficient. We have good plans in place, kind of decision trees. So I know that if something's happening, or if I need to make a decision on something, I kind of have my checklist of people to ask, things to think about, and then I can act on that. So really just staying patient and calm and under control, but then just remembering, like, who to check in with before I make the decision, who this decision's going to affect, is it worth it, and then once you get through those steps, executing the decision and moving forward, and always kind of analyzing Monday morning quarterback after it's done, if should have done it differently or not, and just taking things from it and learning to get better for the next game or the next event.
Awesome. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to be at like the end of your career? What is your like ultimate goal out of your career?
Yeah. That's a great question. I came into this job really knowing that I wanted to stay on the events side. I think ultimately, in the near future, I'd love to get to a conference office or the NCAA or something like that, where you're not necessarily on campus, but you're still working a lot of major events and interacting with coaches and student athletes. I think after getting some experience there and kind of getting off the grind of being on campus, would love to ultimately end up back at a campus. I think there's just something special about being on a college campus and being around student athletes, coaches, student life in general. I think I'm happy where I'm at right now. Say my 5 to 10 year goal would be off campus at more of a organized conference or organization like that, and then ultimately 15, 20, 25 farther down the road, ending up back at the college campus.
Awesome. Last question. What is the greatest sporting event that you have ever attended?
Oh, man. Whew. I've been lucky to be at a few. My internship with the college football playoff down in Dallas afforded me the opportunity to come back and volunteer every year since. So I've worked 4 national championship games. The one in 2017, so the 2016 national championship when Clemson scored on the last second play against Alabama down in Tampa. That was awesome. Then the following year, I was there when Alabama beat Georgia in overtime. I've been to some great Carolina Duke games here. In 2014, my first year of grad school, after they canceled it for weather and rescheduled it 8 days later, it was the last time our fans have ever rushed the court in the Smith Center. So being there, but these are all like working events. Okay. I think as an actual fan with 0 working responsibilities, I would say 2005, I went to a USA-Mexico soccer game that USA won to clinch a spot in the 2006 World Cup. Okay. So that was pretty awesome. That was coming off the 2002 World Cup success, and USA was a lot better than they are now. And having your continent rival. Yeah. And the game was in my backyard up in Columbus, Ohio, so was home, a lot of friends, a lot of family, and no working responsibilities. And
that's great.
Yeah, but I'm fortunate to work a lot of great games too. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you very much, bud.
Yeah, man.
Oh man,
I get the official handshake.
Shake your hand, yeah.